when a young nurse vanishes.
The first red flag was when she didn't show up for work.
Evil howls through a small Wisconsin town.
Angie walked out the door on a video camera with 3 individuals.
Bad situations start playing in your head about what could have happened.
That's when we panicked. Like, what is going on?
A cruel surprise attack in the cold shadows.
That's a horrible way to go. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
My best friend and my sister, she's gone. Everything is just shattered.
The person who did this is a monster. There's no other way to describe him.
In Fitchburg, Wisconsin, winter descends with an icy vengeance.
It can be very shocking to people who aren't from around here, how cold and snowy it can get.
Major blizzards, 17, 18 inches of snow and one snow and blowing and drifting.
If I had to describe what winter is like in one sentence, I would say it can be beautiful yet brutal.
But 25-year-old pediatric nurse Angie Drake doesn't let the cold stop her, especially when it comes to having fun with the kids she cares for.
Yeah, Angie was probably one of the kindest, most thoughtful people I've ever met. Her personality was just very bubbly and outgoing, and she was friends with everyone.
She was active in the church with the kids. She taught religious ed, and then eventually she decided to become a nurse. She could easily relate to everyone, sympathetic to people if they were going through something bad or sad. She was a very caring person. She liked to have fun, always happy, always smiling.
And they lived happily ever after.
All her young clients appreciate her free-spirited attitude.
Now, it is time for you to go to bed.
Angie was employed through a home health care network, taking care of a little boy that had very severe cerebral palsy.
Wait, Angie, can you sing me a song?
A song? What song do you want me to sing?
Jingle bells.
Okay. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open.
Angie loved kids with special needs. She always, had the patience to work with them, kind of understood them on their level too.
Bells on fontels ring, making spirits bright.
It's an emotionally demanding job. So when she's not working, she likes to go out for a good time.
She is absolutely a free spirit, loved life, took advantage of every opportunity that she had.
Thursday, December 8, 2005. Angie lets off steam with a round of karaoke.
Her song of choice when she was singing karaoke was always Janis Joplin. She could hit those notes like no one else could. Tiny frame, but she had lungs on her like you wouldn't believe.
She's with her best friend, Rachel.
Angie and Rachel were very close. They had been friends forever, as far as I can remember. Always hung out, always went out together. Quite often, after they would go out to the bar, they would go back to her place. Rachel lived within walking distance.
They intend to walk to Rachel's together later.
We had just received 4 inches of snow on December 8th, and the roads were tough to travel.
Neither wants to drive in the icy storm.
As the night wore on, as they were, having some drinks and having fun, Rachel ended up going home before Angie did.
Rachel had to work early in the morning, and Angie was mingling with some of the regular crowd. Some of the staff at the bar knew her, so she said, I'll be a little bit longer.
And so she said, I'm gonna leave the door open, just come on in whenever you're ready, Angie.
At 11:30, Rachel walks home alone. Unaware, it's the last time she'll ever see her best friend.
Rachel woke up the next morning. Angie wasn't there, but she also hadn't heard from Angie, and she thought that was kind of strange.
Rachel's calls went to voicemail, and Angie was not returning calls, which drew some concern from Rachel.
Maybe Angie went to her dad's house.
Angie, honey, it's Dad.
Rachel called going, Angie didn't show up last night. She was supposed to come over to my house after karaoke. She didn't show up. She didn't call.
She's simply vanished. Angie's mother also gets a call from Angie's job.
At 9 o'clock that next morning, when Angie didn't show up for work, the home health care company called our residence looking for Angie. I just simply said, she's not here. We haven't heard from her. Maybe she overslept. Maybe her phone is dead, is why she's not answering her phone.
I wasn't overly concerned because it wasn't that uncommon for Angie to pick up and go do something for a short period of time. But that free spirit of hers would take her places that you wouldn't expect.
Yet hours tick by with no word.
If she didn't answer her phone, she would call you back, a short while later. She was very good about staying in touch with you if you were trying to contact her.
There were more and more phone calls throughout the day, people looking for Angie and being concerned. We started to wonder what could have happened to Angie.
I didn't know why she was missing or how she was missing, but I know something is not right. It was not like Angie to not let at least her friends know.
By nightfall, they still can't reach her.
They had plans to go out with her on Friday night. I tried calling her, and when, her phone was off, for a long period of time, I was kind of getting concerned.
It was later on Saturday night that they decided that we would list Angie as a missing person.
Fitchburg police agree to open an investigation.
All right, Rachel.
They start with the bar and Angie's best friend.
Rachel becomes the hub of the investigation right then because she's the last one that talked with Angie.
She was at the bar with this guy named Peter.
She did see Angie talking with an individual during the course of the night.
Angie came, she sat down with him, they shared a few drinks. They hung out for approximately an hour and a half or so.
At the end of the night, I left early.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm tired.
All right. I'll see you later.
Girl. Fun.
Thanks.
Rachel never got Peter's last name.
And according to Rachel, she thought that Angie was with him when it was bar time and she left.
I'm going to give you my card. When you think of anything, give me a call. All right, get home safe.
When Rachel told us about this guy that Angie was talking to, without having anybody else to focus on, he's a good place to start.
Detectives check with bar management and get the first bit of good news. The place is equipped with video security cameras.
We wanted to know who she was with, who she left with, what time she arrived, where she was throughout the night.
Trouble is, the place was packed that night. And the video is very poor quality. investigators begin screening hours of recordings from December 8th.
We were kind of scratching at the very beginning of this case. We just didn't have direction and didn't know which way to go with it.
In all this activity, can they spot a clue that will help them find Angie? During a bitterly cold Wisconsin winter, home health care nurse Angie Drake vanishes after a night out with friends. But a missing adult isn't always an emergency.
A 25-year-old has the freedom to kind of do what they want when they want, and kind of makes the options much more endless as to where this particular person could have gone.
The potential is still there that she can show up tomorrow or within a couple hours and everything goes away.
You know, is she gonna, call her friends back or family back and say, hey, yeah, the long night, long day, I had to take care of some business, or is there more to it?
Kind of have that thought, well, I don't want to be paranoid, I don't want to be jumping the gun, jumping to conclusions.
Checking the bar's security footage, detectives finally pinpoint Angie. Then ID her at various points in the night, talking, dancing, singing. At 1:30 a.m. on the tape, they find what they've been hoping for.
Angie walked out the door on a video camera with 2 other males and another female.
One of the men was closer to her, grabbing her hand.
They looked like they were getting along. It wasn't like he was forcing her out the door, but he did have contact with her as they went out the door.
The detectives came to me and showed the clip of this guy and, asked us, have you seen this guy? Do you know him? Has Angie hung out with him before? But unfortunately, I had never seen this guy before.
Can I say it? Yeah, please. Awesome.
She never really had her guard all the way up.
So much. Are you?
She was always, socially, a social butterfly where she'd interact with a lot of people, and a lot of times without regard for her own safety.
The police department actually sent out a press release looking to identify that person based on the video.
They include that his name might be Peter.
Information is put out to the public. With Angie being missing, we needed to know where she would be. And the more people that we put her face out to, the more likely we were to have that one person come forward with information about her and get it back to us. It can work both ways. One, it can put too many people in the way of the investigation. People generally want to help, but there's a lot of times that by wanting to help so much, they actually get in the way, and along with the news media and everything else, it hinders the process of the job.
While trying to identify Peter, investigators can't rule out other theories and ask loved ones who might have a motive.
She did have some ex-boyfriends, but my understanding was she had amicable relationships with all of her ex-boyfriends.
Who out there maybe wanted to hurt her? Or, did she tick anyone off recently? And I could not think of a single person that would have even the slightest want to hurt her.
Maybe someone the family didn't know about.
Bar employees were interviewed, other patrons were interviewed, ex-boyfriends were interviewed. Anybody who Angie had recently contacted by phone, they were all interviewed, as well as any tips that came in. We were looking for opportunities in anything possible to find a successful conclusion to this. As the investigation went on and Angie was still missing, suspicions grew that it may not end as we all had hoped.
I was just trying to hang on to the good possibilities and not realizing that this nightmare would be true.
Something's not right. Bad situations start playing in your head about, what could have happened.
That was the worst feeling I've ever had. You are looking everywhere. Your mind is racing, trying to figure out where she could be, who could she be with. We would find ourselves just driving and looking out over the fields, hoping to see her. Maybe someone took her and maybe someone dropped her off. We just didn't know.
Angie was last seen wearing jeans, a red turtleneck, and a black vest. Not enough for the frigid Wisconsin weather.
I just remember that week just being brutally cold. And snow and wind and just not wanting to go outside at all. It was so cold.
Only wearing a puffy vest and a sweater. As more and more hours tick off that clock, the probability of survival if you're out in the elements decreases, exponentially.
And Angie had had a few drinks.
Alcohol can enhance the effects of the cold and make the body more susceptible to the effects of freezing cold weather, accelerate the hypothermia process.
So many scenarios went through our head as to what could have happened to Angie that night. Maybe she became disoriented and was walking and fell down, maybe hit her head.
It happened before. There's been reports of others succumb to the elements of the Wisconsin winters.
That's when we panicked. Like, what is going on?
Clock was ticking.
I hung up posters in every place that I thought she may have gone to.
Excuse me, would you? This is my daughter, and she's been missing for several days. Okay. Would you?
I was hoping that she had just taken off and maybe decided to go out west or south, which would not please me, but it would be the far greater of the two alternatives.
Near the bar she'd gone to, Angie's car is found, abandoned.
The vehicle was locked. The fact that the parking lot had been plowed and had been plowed around the car indicated that there was no movement of that vehicle since December 8th.
Inside, no sign of her.
Where is this thing gonna go? Is Angie okay?
And what is in the trunk? In Fitchburg, Wisconsin, after Angie Drake disappears, police check her abandoned car. Inside, no clues to hint at her whereabouts. Investigators hope media attention will help bring forward new witnesses. Turns out, distributing the screen grabs of Angie and the man she was with pays off.
Ultimately, Peter himself came forward after, seeing the news story and saying, hey, I met that woman at the bar. I didn't leave with her. That person that you're showing in the photo is not me.
He seems cooperative, but is it a play?
It wouldn't be the first scenario where somebody's been untruthful with police, let's be honest.
People do come forward once in a while, even though they are directly involved, and they try to play the ruse. They want to be the helpful citizen and come up to the front of the pack, and a lot of times they are found to be involved. The oldest motive is love and lust. In this case, Peter was the only person we had to look at that point.
He tells police his story.
He was at the bar already when Angie arrived. And kind of made a motion for Angie to come over, and they struck up a conversation.
Peter says they talked for over an hour, and he thought they were getting along great. At one point, his attention drifted. And so did Angie.
Peter started talking to another group of friends.
And she moved off with some other people.
Peter stated that she kind of continued hanging out with them throughout the remainder of the evening in the billiards area of the bar.
He insists he had nothing to do with Angie's disappearance. Police check his story against the security footage, though that doesn't show everything.
All you get to see is what the camera shows. And there are things that may be happening outside the field of view of that camera, either before, after, or during.
Once the view of the camera is diminished, we don't know whose car she gets into, where she goes from that point on.
You have to look at all possibilities. There certainly was the possibility that Peter may have hooked up with Angie later that night.
There's always that potential there that maybe somebody is being shut down in the bar and they're not going to accept that, and maybe they followed her home. We don't know.
Investigators would compare what the camera shows. Is that consistent with what's on the surveillance video? In this case, what Peter is saying is true.
Peter also had friends there who left with him. They were able to confirm that Peter did not leave with Angie. It was determined that he was not the individual that had left on video with Angie that night.
So did she leave with the people she played pool with?
Once we know that she is socializing with more than one person, we need to get a statement from them to find out what are their observations of Angie, what are their interactions with her, where did they see her go afterwards.
But they have no way to identify them without more information.
We had nothing. This was grinding to a halt. We didn't know where to look.
Someone out there knows something. Let's find her quick and get her back home.
The family starts an email chain, sending a plea to everyone they can think of, asking for help.
It was Angie in this pink t-shirt with her, pretty blonde hair and a smile on her face, and that she was missing.
It went viral. I mean, people forwarded it and got the word out very quickly that way too.
All of us, I don't believe, ever gave up hope. Because without hope, you've got nothing. But you are a little bit resigned to the fact that this might not end well.
There was still the hope just to find her, no matter the outcome.
8 days after Angie's disappearance, the community gathers to pray for her safe return.
There were about 700 people at that vigil for Angie. There were candles lit, and I just remember afterwards just so many people just consoled us.
The vigil was pretty much heartrending for all the family and anyone who knew her. But it also helped in that there was a coming together of the community.
The brutal Wisconsin weather continues to hamper the search.
We were getting snows every few days. The plows are out clearing the roads. And every day that it snows, it adds just a little bit more of an obstacle.
As each day passed, the possibility of her being found alive was diminishing.
We pretty much were at the end of the rope.
They still need to identify the man she was with.
One of the males is quite tall, wearing a dark jacket, and he has a jacket that's got an emblem visible on the front breast pocket area.
Detectives release a second still to the public.
The hope is to have somebody, recognize the person wearing that particular coat and say, that's the person it was, or, I was with that person. I've seen them wear that coat all the time. This is who you're looking for.
No immediate calls come. And Angie's favorite holiday draws closer.
I was just praying and hoping that she would, just show up and come to our family Christmas. That Angie would just bounce in that house with her Santa hat on that she always wore, throughout the Christmas season.
Without her there, we were missing our Christmas cheerleader. Made it even more difficult, knowing that, this is supposed to be a joyous time.
The family's email blast continues to go viral and pays off.
Angie's family had taken the steps to put together a photo of Angie and the fact that she's been missing. And somebody did come forward and said, hey, I had this email, I received it, I looked at this photo, and I was at the bar that night.
Does this man hold the key to the mystery of Angie's disappearance? 25-year-old nurse Angie Drake vanishes during a blisteringly cold Wisconsin winter. For more than a week, her family has no idea what happened to her.
It's so surreal. You never think that, this could happen, to your best friend, your family, your sister. It was just so surreal that I didn't want to believe it.
One terrible Wisconsin winter, a single mom becomes prey.
You have a woman who vanishes into thin air.
Hey. There was two guys that she was afraid of.
The saddest days I ever had in my life.
I can't explain how the feeling is. It was a nightmare.
This was such a mysterious case to work and such a mysterious thing to unravel.
Horror emerges from beneath the snow and begins to reveal a twisting story of deceit, violence, and a bitter truth no one saw coming.
That's pretty icy. That's pretty evil.
In the village of Mukwonago, Wisconsin, winter means months of oppressive, icy cold.
Wisconsin winters are legendary. Wind chills down to 20, 30, 40 below. And snowfalls of 4 feet is about our average. Not only can they be cold, they can be long.
Yet the winter freeze brings new beginnings for 38-year-old Gail Massett, a single mom with a 20-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son. she's had her share of hardships.
When Gail had her child, she had to drop out of school, and she did the best she could.
She basically raised her 2 children, a boy and a girl, on her own. She worked a variety of jobs. One job she lost because she broke her finger.
Now she's turning things around.
She had gotten a job at a local plastics company that she liked a lot, and she was studying to get her GED. And that would have allowed her to move up.
She wanted to make her life better, get a better paying job. She wanted to give her children more. I was jealous because she could raise her 2 children by herself, work 2, 3 jobs. I don't know how she did it, but she did it, and she did a great job.
She's also reconnected with an old boyfriend, 40-year-old Mike O'Haver.
I think there was a degree of trust that Gail had in Mike because he was someone that she knew since high school. So the relationship re-escalated very fast.
Smartest, prettiest girl I know.
Thank you.
On November 20th, 2005, Gail heads for a night out.
Mike thought she just left to go to the local bar, play a game of darts, play a game of pool.
Hey, Gail. Gail!
The next morning, she isn't home, although her car is still outside.
He kind of wonders what's going on with that. He wasn't very worried at first. You know, she probably stayed over at a friend's house. She probably caught a ride to work.
But Gail doesn't show up for work that morning. And her employer isn't the only one counting on her.
Her son was waiting to get picked up to go to school, and Gail never showed up. And this is where we started worrying.
She was a very social person, and it wouldn't have been unlike her, especially after an argument, to, you know, just leave to cool down for a few hours, go out with friends, things like that.
My mom called me and said that Mike had called her or something like that, that Gail left with a cousin and she didn't come back. And I said, oh, Mom, she'll be fine. She probably went with Rochelle. She'll be back. Don't worry about it. She'll be back.
Mike calls her cell phone. No answer. Later that day, he takes a closer look at her car and finds a real reason to worry.
Generally, women don't go anywhere, in my experience, without their purse or their cell phone. Where could she have gone? Because her car was left behind? Her personal effects were left behind?
Gail never went anywhere without a phone. She was either at work or at her mom's or at my house, or, you know, she was never gone where nobody knew where she was. I felt something was wrong.
Especially when she misses her second day at her new job.
She had just passed her probationary period of 90 days, and it was going really well. And nobody, including Mike, believed that she would imperil her job at this company by just not showing up.
She would never miss work. It's not like her at all. Never. She would go to work sick.
Mike goes with Gail's father to the Mukwonago Police Department, and they file a missing persons report.
Missing adults can be very tricky because if a person wants to leave and doesn't want to be found, they have that right. Her parents stated that she has in the past gone out for a day or two, and then she'll come home. So we assumed that was the case in this situation.
Still, police agree to look into it and start with Mike.
Tell us what happened that night.
He was the last person that she'd been seen with. She lived with him. he was naturally the first person that the police would look at to say, well, what do you know about her whereabouts?
Mike was very cooperative with us, was very concerned and worried about where she was, because he even told us that this was not like her to be gone for this long a period of time.
Even though it might arouse suspicion, he clues them in to an argument they had the night she left.
Got into a little argument.
Mr. O'Haver stated that they were having a few drinks. Gail was going through his papers and found a picture of an old girlfriend. She felt that he was cheating on her.
What is this? Who is this picture of? I just found it in your phone.
It's an ex-girlfriend.
Why do you have this picture of your ex-girlfriend?
She became jealous of that. You know, it was a fairly routine argument.
I didn't even know it was in there.
Are you cheating on me?
No.
Are you gonna leave me?
No. I didn't even know that was there.
Upset, she called her daughter.
The daughter was away in Milwaukee at college.
Hello?
The daughter stated it was the third or fourth call that she missed the first three because she was sleeping.
Mom, no, I've already been asleep for 2 hours now.
Sweetheart.
Can you come get me? Mike and I just had a fight.
She told her to come and get her.
Can't you get Grandma to come pick you up?
But the daughter was in Milwaukee and Gail was in McWanago, and those are pretty far apart.
It's way too late for me to be driving out that far.
She says that she was too tired. Just call Grandma. Grandma's closer. Just call Grandma.
All right, you're right. Sorry. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? All right, I love you. I love you. All right. Bye.
Mike explains that later, Gail got a phone call from a cousin.
Hello? Hey.
They made plans to go out drinking.
Yeah, I can do that.
He told her not to drive
All right. Bye.
because she had been drinking, so he assumed that the cousin was going to come and pick up Gail.
Look, I'm gonna leave. I'll be back.
He said that he went to bed, he wasn't going to sit up and argue, and he figured she'd just go out, have a few drinks, and come home, and everything would be fine. Because this wasn't the first time that they've argued about ex-girlfriends.
Mike was desperate to figure out what had happened to his girlfriend, and he wanted to be as helpful as he could in that quest.
Police hope search and rescue dogs can pick up her scent.
We searched the outside of the house and the surrounding area. There's a railroad tracks right behind their house.
There, a hit.
One of the handlers thought that their dog may have followed a scent about 2 blocks north of the house to a feed mill.
Police scramble to search the mill.
It's cold and bleak outside, and it's starting to snow.
If she's been there several days, there's not much time to find Gail Massett alive. McWanago, Wisconsin police have their first break in their search for missing single mom Gail Massett when search and rescue dogs track her scent from her home to a feed mill not far away. But police find no sign of Gail, dead or alive, and the scent trail ends.
In the end, they weren't able to turn up any concrete leads as to where she might have went using the dogs.
Police turn their attention to area hospitals, looking for any unidentified bodies.
We did get one report that West Allis Memorial Hospital had a Jane Doe, which piqued our interest because she used to be from West Allis. It was her hangout. We thought maybe, okay, she went to West Allis, became intoxicated, fell, whatever, hit her head.
Investigators run down the lead and finally ID the woman. It's not Gail. Gail's boyfriend, Mike, offers to do anything to help police.
All right, we're good to check out the house.
He let us search the house. He let us search his vehicles. He let us search just about anything that he owned. We were hoping to find anything that could help us in telling us why she was gone. Nothing was in disarray, no obvious signs of any struggle. We went through all of her paperwork, all of her clothing.
Check out the jacket.
We found pieces of paper with phone numbers on it, so
Detective?
we asked Mike if we could take those with us so we could follow up and see if she'd been heard from at any of these places.
Is it all right if we take these? Yeah, sure.
I have a photo and a list.
He also provides photos and a list of places she might go.
Mike gave us some bars that she hung out in West Dallas, Wisconsin.
Thank you for your time.
So we had officers go to West Dallas to the bars, check with the bartender, took her picture to see if she had been in there recently.
No one has seen or spoken to Gail since she vanished. And detectives find no activity on her credit cards or bank accounts.
We entered her in the National Crime Information Center and also the Wisconsin Crime Information Bureau as a missing person.
It was just a mystery to the family because it was not at all like Gail to stay out of touch with her children for more than a couple of days.
We received a call from the Milwaukee FBI office. We sent them our reports. Here's everything we've done. Did we miss something? Is there something more we should do? Because we don't get a lot of these in Mukwonago. They said, you've covered all the bases.
Gail never went a day without her and I talking on the phone. She pretty much spoke to her children every day.
4 days after Gail's disappearance is Thanksgiving.
When Thanksgiving came, that's when it hit me that, okay, 10 bricks at me, she is missing. And she didn't call the kids, that's not like Gail at all. Something's wrong. Something happened to her.
I can only imagine what that family must have felt like. Holidays are supposed to be joyous occasions. I don't imagine it was very joyous at all.
As worry increases, Mike reaches out to the news media for help.
My name's Mike O'Haver.
He wanted Gail to be found fast. It's taking too long. He said, where is she? He was worried about her, if she's okay.
We've been working with the police. They have been monitoring.
He was front and center. He was the guy seeking out the cameras to say, you know, I need your help, community, to find my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You have his face, right?
Telling people how much he loved her.
Just wanted to say I love you and I miss you. Your family misses you. And please come home.
It keeps people talking about the case, but does not solve it.
After the first week went by, and again, she had no contact with her children, no contact with her parents. You know, that's when you start thinking, okay, this is just not right. I don't think we're gonna find Gail alive.
But police don't share that with the family.
I'm not gonna do that because you want them to have hope.
Searching for clues in her background, detectives dig deeper. Gail Massett grew up in Big Bend, Wisconsin, the youngest of 3 kids.
She was a happy-go-lucky kid. She liked everything. She went fishing with me. You look on every picture she's always smiling. Some kind of a smile some way. She's always laughing.
They learned Gail was a free-spirited woman who loved riding motorcycles and playing pool or darts with friends.
She was a hardworking person and a fun-loving person and a person that worked hard for her kids.
Investigators look into Mike. He's been helpful. But is there more police don't know?
He cared about her and her children. They seemed happy and smiling together and joking around.
He was her high school sweetheart, and she really loved him.
Nothing indicates he did anything to her. a friend tells police she has concerns about Gail's ex.
People thought that the father of her children might have had something to do with it.
She'd always have bruises.
Mom?
They didn't get along.
Is everything okay?
They always had shouting matches on the phone.
I'll be out in a minute.
The police had to look at, her ex and see if he could possibly have done something to Gail.
The family, they're familiar with the history of what went on. We looked into it, and there was just nothing there to point the ex-husband in our direction.
Still, no solid answers.
I can't explain how the feeling is. The emptiness, the loss, the worrying, the wondering. It was a nightmare. It was, everybody's life stopped in our family.
Then, Gail's mother recalls something that might break the case open. An incident that took place days before she vanished.
Gail's mother, Carol, told us that Gail mentioned to her that there was two guys that she was afraid of.
She first encountered these men in a bar. They were watching her and very interested in her, but in a menacing way, like they were stalking her.
When she tried to leave, things got really scary. She called her mom and said they were after her.
They'd followed her out to her car, which raised the possibility that they had written down her license plate and could have figured out where Gail now lived.
Hey.
You have a woman who vanishes into thin air, and she's recently told a close family member that she's frightened of people that she thinks are stalking her. You have to wonder if they did something to Gail. So the police really set out to try to figure out who were these men.
There's an urgency, but where do you begin looking?
In Mukwonago, Wisconsin, police learned two men stalked single mom Gail Massett before she vanished. Gail told her mother about the men, but few details.
Gail's mother, Carol, told us that she tried to get more information from her daughter, where they were, who they were, those kind of things, and Gail wouldn't tell her.
Gail's boyfriend, Mike, doesn't know about the men either.
What are you doing? Nothing. Don't scare me like that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. It's just, what's out there?
Maybe she thought that, it would upset him because they were other men or something like that, so she really only told her mother. Mike latched onto this theory right away, though, and he started to consider this could be plausible.
Unable to sit idly by and wait, Mike and Gail's mother begin their own search.
We went around looking for Gail. We was putting out signs that Gail was missing. We went in his cabin and asked them if they would put Gail's picture up there because we want to know where she's at.
He tells friends he can barely sleep with the not knowing.
I went to talk to him. He was worried sick about her. He did tell me that he had trouble sleeping at night and was watching the door. He slept on the couch waiting for her to walk in at a moment's notice.
He was really traumatized about Gail. I mean, imagine how anyone would feel if their significant other one night just literally walked out the door and never came back.
After a week, he calls police with new information that might help.
Mike told us that there was a suspicious black truck driving on the street in front of their house. He said he noticed it 2 or 3 times in one day and driving by real slow.
Could they be the men from the bar?
If there would have been something more to give us a better description, a partial plate number, something like that, then we could have attempted to locate. But just with the basic information that we were given, there's thousands of black trucks in the Wisconsin area. You can't have officers stopping every black truck.
Weeks pass with no new developments.
I think in the back of your mind, you always fear the worst, but hope for the best.
After a while, I kind of expected that she wasn't going to be okay, that she was dead somewhere, that she was gone.
As an investigator, you want to give answers to the families. It's frustrating when you just don't have those answers. The family, I can only imagine the hell that they're going through.
They didn't have anything to go on, and that was part of why this was such a mysterious case to work and such a mysterious thing to unravel.
On January 10th, 2006, nearly 2 months after Gail disappeared, finally, some answers.
Guy out walking his dog on a country road on a typical winter afternoon in Wisconsin. Dog sees something and took off on him.
Apparently his dog ran off through some brush, didn't come back when he called him, so he kind of walked in through the brush.
Diesel, come here. Hey.
And at that time he saw what appeared to be a body laying face down in the field.
Oh, man. Come on, bud. Come on.
Detectives and technicians begin processing the scene.
The body was 25 feet or so off of the roadway.
This was sort of a miracle that this body was found at all, because it was pretty well hidden.
It's a woman. There's no ID on her.
There was no gunshot wounds, no stab wounds on the body, anything like that. No obvious cause of death visible on the body at that time. There was nothing disturbed on the ground in the area of the body. There was not a large amount of blood, so it was obvious to us that this person was not killed there. This person was killed elsewhere and then brought to this location.
Techs comb the area for clues, but find nothing.
You hope it's not the person, because you're still hoping that you're going to find this person alive and well, and we're just not known to be a dumping ground for bodies around here. In the pit of my stomach, I kind of figured that this would probably be her. We knew that she had a rose tattoo on her shoulder. And we notified the medical examiner. They checked, and the person did have a rose tattoo on their shoulder. They did a fingerprint and confirmed that it was Gail.
And my heart, I just sank. I just couldn't say nothing no more.
That's one of the worst parts of this job, is making the notifications, telling a loved one that their loved one is dead. That's not the answer that they wanted. It's not the answer you wanted to give them. When we told Mike that it was positively Gail, he broke down, very upset, very emotional.
The autopsy report reveals severe blunt force trauma and a cracked vertebra.
The head injury, the medical examiner thought was from some type of hard object, which could have been punching and falling to the floor or something like that, or hit over the head with something.
The medical examiner's death certificate, the cause of death, homicidal violence. Just that phrase is enough to make you shudder. I work with words, and And I'm aware of the power of words, and those are two of the most powerful words I have ever heard on my job. And that was the cause of death for Gail Massett. I will never forget that phrase.
She looked like she was in a horror movie. That's how she looked. She didn't even look like Gail.
I felt very empty. It was like a part of me is gone. My sister is gone. But let's just be thankful that she was found, because a lot of family out there don't even find their loved ones. The wondering and the worrying stopped. I knew where she was. Then I thought, now we gotta get the part now. Who done it?
When the body's found, it usually is more questions than answers. Where has she been since she was reported missing? Was she in somebody's basement tied up or being held against her will? And then later killed and then the body placed at that location.
Detectives still have nothing concrete on the two men who had stalked Gail.
Looking for these men was like a needle in a haystack because they really had nothing to go on. They didn't even have a thorough description of what the men looked like. They didn't have their names, their license plates, or anything like that.
Five days after the body's found, Mike O'Haver rushes into the police station with a frightening story.
He said late Friday night, Saturday morning, he was in his house about 2 a.m., something like that. He heard a noise out in the backyard, like somebody hit the siding on his house or something. So he grabbed a flashlight, decided to go out and check it out. He said that as he came around a corner, the next thing he knows, something was wrapped around his neck from behind.
He says he heard the man threaten him.
He said, "You're gonna get yours now."
Before he passed out.
Obviously, at this point in time, the police have to wonder, did the man who attacked Mike have something to do with Gail's murder?
Five days after the tragic discovery of Gail Massett's frozen remains, her boyfriend, Mike O'Haver, tells police he was also attacked.
He said that he passed out after a few minutes. Next thing you know, he woke up. Doesn't know how long he was outside. He woke up, the guy was gone.
So what time did all this happen?
Gail had been stalked by two men, but Mike only saw one that night.
Heard one man's voice. He never got a look at him, couldn't describe him. Thought he heard a loud truck afterwards when he was passing out.
It sounded like a pickup truck and they drove off.
So you didn't see the vehicle at all?
No, all I know is that
There's this pickup truck and one or two men who keep reappearing in the storyline in a menacing way. They follow Gail to her car. She's afraid of them. She thinks they're stalking her. Mike says that he had seen a truck with two men in it driving near the house, and now he's been attacked by a man who gets in what sounds like a pickup truck.
I realized that this might have something to do with Gail's murder, so
The problem for police is all of this stuff is so vague. You know, an old black pickup, that's such a common vehicle in Wisconsin. There's potentially thousands of old black pickup trucks in this area.
Detectives interview neighbors, hoping someone got more details.
Nobody else saw anything or heard anything. It's all homes in the area. There's no businesses with surveillance or anything around there, so there's no video that we could have gotten.
More than a week after the discovery of Gail's remains, her family holds the funeral.
It was one of the saddest days I ever had in my life. I pretty much cried through the whole thing because it was just, I couldn't believe she was gone.
Hundreds of people gather to remember Gail and give their condolences to her grieving family.
Oh, there were so many people at the funeral. Friends, old friends, kids that she went to school with, that we both went to school with, there. People from the work was there. I know people liked her, but I was shocked that all these people were there. It made me feel really good that all these people were saying nice things about her, how special she was, that she was well liked.
But for Mike, it's too much.
These just arrived. He sent flowers, and the floral arrangement had a note. So people felt that, people grieve differently, and Mike was just too upset to go to the funeral. He couldn't handle it. Police wanted answers for Gail's family, and they wanted to bring her killer to justice. And they had this really promising lead of these men who she said had been stalking her. And they did everything that they could to try to figure out who these men were.
13 days after the discovery of Gail's body, Mukwonago police finally get another lead to follow. A local news department turns over an email they received.
The email writer stated that he and his friend, who drives a black truck, were driving down a street in Mukwonago and saw a female standing by a car in a driveway. So they stopped and asked her if she wanted to party with them. And she said, yeah, and got in the truck between them.
He claims the woman died in his friend's house after falling down the stairs.
He says that they panicked, decided to put the body in garbage bags and hide it. They drove on some roads for a while, finally found a place, and they dumped her in a field. The email writer said that he couldn't live with it anymore and his friend needs to be found, but he wouldn't give a name.
Is this about Gail?
It just said a female, but being dumped in a field was somewhat consistent with what we had. The blunt force trauma to the head, bruising could be from stairs, falling downstairs, sure.
And they encountered her right next to her car, which fit the story that she was headed for her car to go to a tavern for a couple of hours.
I need some space right now.
Why?
It also would explain why her purse and her cell phone were found in the car, because she just got in the truck with these two men, apparently voluntarily.
The writer doesn't fully identify himself, but that doesn't stop police.
I think people forget these days how easy it is to trace electronic communication. They delude themselves into thinking they might actually be able to stay anonymous and that the email wouldn't be traced back to them.
The IP address was traced directly across the street and 2 houses to the north of where Mike and Gail lived.
That house is owned by a man named Sebastian Douglas. He has a wife and kids. And he immediately becomes the prime suspect.
Here's a man who lives across the street, 2 houses down. He could have been watching their house and maybe derived an interest in her from that. He could have easily been the person who attacked Mike and strangled him. And then he could have just run across the street and gone into his house.
The residents seemed like, just your normal, typical family of 4, living on a small street, working hard, had a nice house. And you wonder, okay, who actually lives here?
News outlets receive an email with inside information on the Gail Massett murder. and turn it over to police. The forensics unit traces it to a man named Sebastian Douglas, who lives down the street from Mike and Gail.
We felt we were getting close. We're gonna get answers. We're gonna find out what happened.
Detectives run a background check on Douglas.
You're gonna be late for work if you don't get going.
Okay, almost done.
You want some coffee?
We checked our logs. We've never been at the residence for any problems before. You know, your typical American family. Mom and dad worked, kids went to school.
Investigators question the entire Douglas family.
Have a good day.
We explained why we were there. They were very cooperative. They said that they didn't send any email like that. We talked to the kids. Nobody sent an email like that.
Schmidt's gut is telling him the family is being truthful, but his IT guys are telling him the email came from that computer's IP address. Could the Douglas computer have been hacked?
The forensic unit took the computer to check it over. They went through everything and they said that computer was not used to make it and it hadn't been hacked.
But just because an email comes from an IP address doesn't mean it comes from that house.
I was in the squad with the forensic unit with their laptop. We were on Grand Avenue, and at that time you didn't need a password for Wi-Fi. They had a choice of 5 internet providers that they could have used at that point.
I have Wi-Fi networks, all unsecured.
Anyone nearby could have hopped on the wireless network, like Mike O'Haver.
We got him.
When the forensic unit explained to me how it works, that's when I remembered he told me that he now had internet service because he had a device that captures Wi-Fi.
Is this your computer? Yeah, it is.
And now it's starting to add up to the police, and they start to look at Mike in a new light. He has tried to be front and center from day one of this case. He's almost been too cooperative. He's providing too many stories and too many details and bizarre accounts of people attacking him.
You're gonna get yours now.
And now there's this strange, email with all of these details that match things he's said to the police. And it's his neighbor's wireless network.
What can you tell me about the email that was released to the press? I don't know.
Police question him about the email, but he denies everything. At first.
We were able to trace it back to your laptop.
When he finally admitted that he sent the email, he told us that he did not feel we were doing enough to find the black truck, and he was hoping the media would find the black truck. That was his reason for doing that.
Whoever owns that truck probably killed Gail.
I don't believe you. I know there's more to it than that. Come clean, Mike. Tell us what really happened.
All right. Okay.
After a few hours of intense questioning, he finally breaks down.
Again, he denied any involvement in the matter. After a period of time, he finally began to open up and I don't want to say told the truth, he finally told us that something did happen there.
He says it really did start over the picture of his ex-girlfriend.
What was this picture of? I just found it in your phone.
At that time, they started arguing, and she hit him.
She left.
He stated they argued more. Mike went and slapped her back.
Not leaving me!
Gail decided to leave. She called her daughter to pick her up.
Sweetheart, can you come get me? Mike and I just had a fight.
Her daughter said it was too long of a drive and too late, so she couldn't come and get her. But Gail was getting her stuff together, and she was going to leave anyway.
I believe she went in the car. She had her purse, her cell phone, everything was in the car.
Get out of the car.
And Mike grabbed her and took her out of the car because Mike did not want her to leave. He didn't like anybody leaving him.
She started poking me.
she kind of started accusing him. Then he pushed her back, and then it escalated to punching.
You think you can leave me?
She hit back, because of course, my sister would never let anybody hit her and get away with it.
I own you! Stop!
And
Go! Go! Go!
Mike confesses he punched Gail several times, but claims he realized what he was doing and stopped. She seemed okay.
He said that at that point he wanted to call the police and turn himself in, and she talked him out of it. Stated that he told her he loved her, they made up, he went to bed, she was on the couch sleeping, he fell asleep. When he woke up in the morning, he went out in the living room, tried to wake her up, and she didn't wake up. He said she was dead.
She had some cracked bones. She had hair missing. These are clearly not the injuries that are consistent with a couple of people who might be drunk and punching one another. Even if they're really hauling off and slugging somebody, you're not gonna break somebody's neck with a punch. You're not gonna pull their hair out with a punch.
So what did you do?
When her body was lying in his hallway and, wrapped in plastic, he called her cell phone to make it look like he was looking for her. That's pretty icy. That's pretty evil.
Under cover of darkness, he put her body in the trunk and drove to the remote dumping spot.
He got rid of the evidence that he could. Including Gail's body, and then puts up the charade of the concerned, panicked boyfriend. Anything I can do to help, that kind of thing.
just wanted to say I love you, and please come home.
To throw police off, he made up the story of the attack, then hacked his neighbor's Wi-Fi.
He writes this elaborate, detailed email thinking he's outsmarting the police. But what he ended up doing, it's karma, is he gave the police the evidence they needed. The account Mike gave to the police of how he killed Gail was pretty self-serving. He tried to minimize his behavior and exaggerate hers. There's no evidence that he had serious injuries that she had caused to him. The evidence is that he snapped and he brutally beat her.
And then spent the holidays with her family.
Michael Haver is at the Massett house for Thanksgiving. He's at the Massett house for Christmas. You have Mike there commiserating with them, knowing all along that he was the reason that they're in such pain.
Excuse me.
That is the coldest, most emotionally brutal part of it for me.
I consider he's a sociopath, and I don't think he's capable of feeling.
On June 25th, 2007, Mike O'Haver is found guilty of first-degree intentional homicide for the murder of Gail Massett. He is sentenced to life in prison without parole.
When I saw him in the courthouse, we actually looked straight at each other in the eye to eye, and he just made me sick. I figured he was gonna be the one to make Gail happy, and then he turns around and does this.
I will never forgive him. Never. He took her away. We're never gonna see her. It's not the same. Our family's not the same. She was a wonderful woman, a wonderful mother, a wonderful sister. She was just a wonderful person.
I miss her though. That's all I can say. I miss her a lot.
The loss of her just affected everybody. And, you know, and everybody wishes she was here.
I look at a picture every day, wake up every morning crying. They say it gets easier, it gets harder. Every day and every year it gets harder. It does not get easy.
In frozen New England, women start to vanish one by one.
I remember running, asking, was that my Aunt Loretta?
There were other homicides of females, similar in nature.
A city in panic.
Oh my God, why is he picking up the pace?
And a killer one step ahead.
Every one of these women was murdered in a cold, heartless manner.
You start to look at everyone. Everyone's a suspect. Everyone's guilty.
With stakes this high, anything can happen. And it does.
The young man pounced and then pummeled him with punches. The worst serial killer in Massachusetts history.
Winter pummels the working-class city of Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield winters in general can be brutal. You think you've seen the worst, but it always somehow turns out worse than what you thought.
The snow was so deep, we opened our back door and the snow fell into the house. Brutally cold.
The brutal cold doesn't freeze crime.
The city is like every other city in America. It's had its periods of time where it has been safer and periods of time where there's a little more danger and it's been a little darker.
A new police chief and a new mayor are revitalizing the city.
Springfield is making the turn. It was a city that had a lot going for it. And there was plenty of money to meet many of the objectives that we had hoped to achieve. So it was a good time for the city. It was an exciting time for the city.
Springfield was under good leadership at the time. It was a city that was moving forward, a city that had momentum. It was inviting. And there was some opportunity here.
The winter of 1998 will prove to be one of the darkest. "38-year-old Loretta Daniels has always called the city home. Only 4'11", the feisty youngest of 11 siblings is fondly referred to as Little Bit.
She was full of laughter and life, and she had an infectious smile. She always seen the glass half full, so to speak.
She and her older sister, Hattie, are especially close.
I was just like a mother to her. She was nice and pleasant and wouldn't harm a fly. She would make you smile. It wouldn't be a day past that, I didn't see her. And if I didn't see her, she'd always call me.
On January 31st, 1998, no call comes.
I didn't hear from her. I started asking my other sisters, had they seen her? And my sister, Dolores, said that she hadn't seen her like the day before.
Dolores explains she ran into Loretta that evening. The man might have been just a friend. Everything seemed fine. A second day passes with no word.
We knew something wasn't right because nobody had heard from her in a couple of days. She didn't call me. So then I got in my car, went over to my sister's house to pick them up so we could start looking for Loretta.
They go to talk to Loretta's friends.
And they hadn't seen her.
It's possible Loretta decided to skip town for a while. The two sisters share a bank account.
So then we went to the bank. And the money was still in the bank. So then we really got concerned, about what was happening.
On the third night, Hattie has a disturbing vision.
I seen Loretta sitting down with her legs crossed. Had a hand out, tried to meet my head. That's the last thing I've seen of her. And I knew something had done happened to her.
She calls Springfield police and files a missing persons report. But before an investigation can begin, a man walking downtown makes a chilling discovery.
This poor woman was found partially clad near the postal station in an alleyway in Mason Square, which is a prominent square.
Another resident, a minister, covers the young woman.
Out of respect, I believe, for another human being, which I found to be a touching aspect of a horrendous crime.
She was a black female found lying on her back.
The crime scene investigators were able to tell that it appeared to have been a manual strangulation.
Her body was positioned in an unusual way. Her boots were kind of placed orderly next to her body. She was sexually assaulted and strangled, and that is what was confirmed by the coroner.
It's important to see whether as a parent she put up a fight, if our attacker could have been injured, scratched, anything along them lines.
No sign of defensive wounds. Even before an ID is made, Loretta's nephew sees a breaking report on TV about a body.
The news is on, it's on the news. And I remember saying to myself, that's my Aunt Loretta. I just got that gut feeling. And I remember running to that place, asking, was that little bit, was that my Aunt Loretta?
That's my Aunt Loretta.
We haven't got any information on this yet, just
They called and told me they found the body. I told them that was my sister. I knew it was.
I was devastated, speechless, and you just want to know what happened and how did it happen and, and why.
I cannot imagine how would another person take another person's life.
Our jobs as investigators at that point would be to canvass the area, looking for witnesses.
They find no one who saw or heard anything, and hope the autopsy will reveal more.
During Loretta Daniels' autopsy, I was assigned to assist the ME, and it was discovered that she had a cloth item down her throat.
A sock, likely her own. It contains seminal fluid, but there's no suspect to compare it to. Detectives try to identify and question any male seen with Loretta around the time of her death. No one admits knowing anything about the crime.
Well, look, there are no other questions. Can I go home now?
And investigators find nothing tying any of them to it. As they work, some detectives come to a troubling realization. The murder of Loretta Daniels seems eerily familiar. Within the past 4 months and nearby, 2 other women were killed.
Similar homicides, sexual assault, strangulation. Every one of these women was raped, assaulted, and murdered in a cold, heartless manner.
And that's when one of the investigators said, "This isn't sounding good. We may have a serial murder."
During a harsh Springfield, Massachusetts winter, Loretta Daniels goes missing until her body turns up in a downtown alley near the post office.
The place that they did find her, some place that you just walk past every day and you just would never think that they would find a body there, never mind my aunt's body.
She'd been raped, strangled, and had a sock stuffed in her throat.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I didn't want to believe it.
She wouldn't have hurt anyone, so it boggled my mind that she would be a victim to that type of brutality.
Who could have done something like that and why?
Because of the way Loretta was killed, they wonder if her slaying might be connected to 2 others. 3 months earlier, and just blocks away from where Loretta was found,
There was a homicide on Spring Street, white female, no identification. She was also found in a state of undress. She was also found outside in an alley.
she's identified as Danielle Taylor.
She was bound and gagged. And that, to me, had this sadomasochistic qualification to it.
A clue to the killer's psychology, but not his identity.
She had tissue forced down her throat that was non-visible from the open mouth. That had to be found by the medical examiner. The same held true for Loretta Daniels on State Street. She had a sock forced down her throat, which could not be seen until examined by the medical examiner.
Like the sock from Loretta's autopsy, the tissue contained seminal fluid. As with Loretta, there were no witnesses. A week after that, another victim. Amanda Lawson, 38 years old, just like Loretta.
She was found in her home, 2 blocks from the police station, going up the hill on Worthington Street.
She lived there with her child, who actually made the discovery. The killer left her deceased body in such a position where the son, that minor son, was going to find his mother. And that's something no son should find.
She was raped, manual strangulation, and there was also a sock underneath her body that contained seminal fluid.
In 3 crime scenes, 2 socks and a tissue, all with bodily fluids.
It's kind of a strange coincidence. That would indicate to us that the women, they were raped, and the sock or other item was used to clean himself afterwards.
There's one more sickening truth.
There was evidence that there was post-mortem sexual relations with these victims.
You will have to look when there are patterns. You also have to look where there are not patterns and say, you know, this doesn't fit. I mean, the mere fact of some of the victims being indoors and some being outdoors, you could add that to a list of non-patterns.
word starts to spread about the other slayings.
By the time there were 3 bodies and similar characteristics, it was unsettling.
It had been other females that had got killed and stuff in the area, especially women.
We were on tremendously high alert. We had officers working overtime around the clock at that time.
Detectives send the socks and the tissue to the lab to try to extract DNA evidence.
Back then, DNA was relatively new science. It involved collecting vials of blood from people and submitting them to the lab. And the process of developing that profile, it took a long time.
Are the 3 murders really connected?
It was too early to jump to that conclusion. Until the science came back, we kept an open mind.
The community was basically like, okay, we need some answers. Even if it's just one person you want to find out, but when it's multiple people that are getting killed, we need to have some kind of answers.
The number one role of government is to provide safety to its citizens. They wanted to know when it was going to stop, who was involved, is it more than one person? And they were literally knocking at my door and Chief Mirror's door for answers.
None of the victims had defensive wounds, and no witnesses saw or heard any struggle.
We focused our attention to male subjects who would blend in the community, someone that these women would befriend, look to spend time with.
The police chief at the time, Paul Amira, assigned a heavy uniform presence in these neighborhoods, as well as an awful lot of undercover officers.
We worked with a lot of people on the streets, in the neighborhoods, all over the city, and we were getting cooperation. So we really felt that if somebody knew that they would come forward.
We'd get tips, we'd get phone calls.
Most of them vague accusations, names of men who knew some of the victims. No one provides direct evidence, but the list of suspects grows.
When the bodies start to pile up and it's focused on the city of Springfield, you start to wonder and look at everyone. Everyone's a suspect. Everyone's guilty.
Every one of these murders was unwitnessed. And unwitnessed murders are very, very difficult to solve.
We did everything we could in terms of adding unlimited overtime, calling in all the experts in the law enforcement community.
Including FBI profilers who review details of the 3 killings and develop a profile.
They said that he was fairly young, 30 give or take.
That this person could move in and out of this community of people very comfortably and was comfortable with them.
That he did a type of work that was precise and exacting.
He'll appear normal, maybe even boring.
That he lived and worked not too far from the area.
And he does not live alone.
It did come back that the killer was likely an African-American man. We were really quite shocked at that because many of the serial killers in American history up to that point had been white men.
Profilers also know serial killers often keep souvenirs from victims, clothing, jewelry. They're uncertain if jewelry was taken from their 3 victims, but if so, finding it might lead them to the killer. Investigators use the profile to try to narrow down their list of suspects.
We had a number of suspects, some of whom had been cleared, some not. I think we had a 24-hour tail on one suspect because once we zeroed in on anybody, we began to feel the obligation that if we felt we had some evidence, yet it didn't reach probable cause, that we had a duty to protect.
They have to control the amount of information distributed to the public.
You can't give too many details out like this because you don't want a copycat or something like that. You know what I mean? If someone's going to confess, just say someone's going to confess and the details are out, well, you know what I mean? Is he really the guy?
They want to withhold a certain amount of information because they want only the perpetrator and the police to know all the details. There was an escalating fear in the community, and there were warnings to exert extreme caution in who you come in contact with.
Tension was so high. I mean, you could cut it with a knife when you walk through the neighborhoods.
You want to catch this guy as quick as you can.
The public was frustrated. We as police officers were frustrated. It takes a certain type of person to be a homicide investigator, the type A, hard charging. Let's solve this. And we weren't able to do that.
You had 3 women dead in a short period of time. And soon there would be a 4th.
In Springfield, Massachusetts, police worry the winter murders of Loretta Daniels, Amanda Lawson, and Danielle Taylor are related. Detectives recovered 2 socks and a tissue from the 3 scenes, all with bodily fluids on them. But they need a suspect to compare them to.
This DNA, we knew that was really going to be the connect.
Until they find that suspect, citywide fear.
Everybody was kind of on alert, especially women, you know, where they would say you just don't go out by yourself. Always try to have a second person with you, but it was a scary feeling.
When these murders started, and I was getting the calls from the police chief, and they were all young women, it really took a toll on the city, on the psyche of the city.
It's a city of 150,000. The communities are still rather tight-knit, and people knew the victims. They knew relatives and friends of the victims.
Just 9 days after Loretta's murder.
Hey, Mom. Mom? Mom? Mom, wake up. Mom, wake up. Please wake up, Mom.
The killer claims a 4th victim, 43-year-old Rosemary Downs.
Once at the apartment, the son had let us in. There was no sign of a forced entry.
The obvious similarities were strangulation, raping, left at the scene and collected and analyzed were a piece of clothing that contained seminal fluid. Rosemary's body in her apartment from where Loretta was found murdered was, as the crow flies, maybe no more than a half mile.
Word spreads quickly through Rosemary's family.
My oldest brother called to inform us that she had been killed. That's when we all drove straight over to my aunt's house. I couldn't believe it. It was hard to believe that she was gone and that anyone would do something like that to her, because she was nice to... She was good to everyone.
Another senseless slaying of a good woman loved by many.
She was life of the party. She was awesome. We'd always go over there. She was either cooking or had some music on. She loved music. My brothers would rather go to her house in the summer instead of going to camp, so she was great.
There was evil in some aspect of this person's personality. You know, there's some bad in the best of us and some good in the worst of us, but clearly the worst side of this individual was coming out.
I'm racking my brain, and everyone I look at, I'm asking, are they capable of being that heartless and ruthless to kill someone and feed off of that? Just a sick, twisted, mixed up individual.
You know, it's like we got a serial killer running around in Springfield. That's crazy. It's absurd anywhere, but where we live, no, that's crazy.
Who is he? Why these women? Why this winter?
Yeah, what's in this guy's mind? It started slow. All of a sudden, it's speeding up the amount of homicides like this. And you're like, oh my God, you know, what is this guy doing? Why is he picking up the pace?
We were shocked at the appetite of this killer, that he could do this to these women and in no time do it over again.
We have to unite as a community. We have to stand together.
Neighborhood leaders hold meetings to discuss the case.
The community was very in tune with what was going on. The citizens were afraid.
You gotta help them get their peace of mind, because you don't want to live in fear. You want to do whatever you can to make them feel better.
Yet what they want is an arrest.
After my aunt was murdered, I didn't feel comfortable around any men. I couldn't take the bus or anything because I just didn't trust anyone, and I basically stayed in the house for a while.
Investigators agree with FBI profilers that the killer is an insider.
They said that he moved easily through his community.
So we did feel that this killer had access to the women and that he knew them.
We were working 20 hours a day. Sometimes we worked around the clock. Very long days in an attempt to solve these crimes.
Officers, they knocked on doors, they talked to everybody and their brother, and they followed up on every bit of information that they had.
There was one individual being surveilled 24 hours a day. This individual had a connection to 2, if not 3 of the murder victims. There was nothing forensically putting him at these crimes. It was just that he knew these females.
They follow him, hoping to spot him with trophies or other connections to the slayings, yet find nothing.
He submitted to a DNA sample. He cooperated 100%, and he was ultimately determined he was not responsible for these homicides.
Back to square one. A frightened community arms itself.
To have a rush of an influx of new weapons that were going into homes in the city, it caused me some concern too.
It's scary to be out at night now.
I'm so fearful of my daughters right now. Tonight, when my daughter get off at 11 o'clock, I will escort her home.
I certainly understood why they did it. Certainly understood it, but it was not a good combination.
If we didn't catch this person, we expected another death down the road.
It had to be somebody that just didn't have a soul.
Somebody who's not finished killing and is about to rip a mother away from her children.
He's probably the worst serial killer in Massachusetts history. He's an ice-cold killer.
Over 4 winter months, a serial killer has claimed the lives of 4 women, including Loretta Daniels and Rosemary Downs.
We all had families, and none of them did anything wrong to have their life taken away.
Someone that either has a switch that goes on and off or is just plain evil.
This had to be a heartless monster. To snuff their lives out purely for his own pleasure was just stunning beyond belief.
He's also has to be somebody that the women probably would feel comfortable with.
First time that I ever saw, and I was on the job for 39.5 years, such horrific crimes that were going on.
Eight days after Rosemary's murder, family members report a Springfield woman named Vicki Roberts missing.
You guys gonna be good tonight? Yes. Oh, come give Mommy a hug.
The 37-year-old single mother was last seen leaving her daughters with a babysitter for a night out.
Okay. All right, love you.
She was a good mom, and I know that she wouldn't have deserted her children. There was no doubt in my mind that something evil had happened to her.
Once I found out that she was missing, I immediately thought that this could be the same person that killed my aunt.
Investigators need to find out who Vicki went out with that night and begin questioning family and friends. The next day, her car turns up nearby.
She lived in a large complex off of North Branch Parkway. She lived on one side, and on the exact opposite side was her car, left unlocked. There was some blood inside the car, smears. There wasn't much.
This is not good. Whether you are leaning toward there's a serial killer or not, this may have a bad outcome.
The blood might be Vicki's or whoever grabbed her.
There was a hope that she was alive. There was that hope.
This could be their one chance to save a missing woman before she becomes another dead body.
She was missing. We knew we had a killer with a tremendous appetite. We beat the bushes.
In the area where she lived, there was a heavily wooded area, not too far. That was searched.
We had our canines out. We had our officers doing searches. We did everything that we could.
We didn't locate her.
But detectives do find some of the people she was with the night she vanished.
On the night that she disappeared, she was in the company of a couple females and a male. And the couple females identified the male subject.
Finally, they have a name. Vicki was with 31-year-old Alfred Gaynor. Gaynor is well known in the community.
My Aunt Rosemary knew Gaynor. I did see them together one day, walking down the street. And my mother knew some of the Gaynor family.
His family lived like on the next street. You know, so the name Gaynor was like a name that our family knew.
You know why we called you down here?
Nope. Really? Mr. Gaynor was first brought in for questioning was brought in not as a suspect, but as a person who was last seen with one of the victims.
Where were you on February 2nd? You remember?
He admits he was with Vicky that night, but they separated when she said she wanted to go pawn some earrings.
Mr. Gaynor informed us that he was dropped off on a certain street in Springfield, and he gave directions where to go sell her jewelry in Holyoke, and she drove off by herself. The interview lasted 7 hours.
He swears he did nothing to harm Vicky or any of the others, and they have no evidence or testimony against him.
A DNA sample was taken from him, voluntarily submitted.
Back then, it required taking someone to the hospital for them to draw 4 vials of blood.
Will it match the fluid from the bodies and the blood from Vicky's car?
DNA was in its infancy stages, so it took a great deal of time. Too much time, actually.
Until they get results, they have to release him.
We did not have probable cause. You know, we were very cautious.
You do not want to mess up a case like this, to let a guy out on technicality. You don't want a judge come in and say, you know what, you made a mistake. Do you want to be the department that messes something like that? They were super careful.
Mr. Gaynor was put under surveillance. It was a hidden surveillance. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everywhere he went, the officers went. There was no time Mr. Gaynor could have slipped away.
They hope he'll lead them to Vicky.
As each day went by, the concern was that she wasn't alive. So there was some concern that we were going to find another dead female somewhere.
A few weeks later, Mayor Albano has a disturbing dream.
I had a dream that one of the women was found in the bushes by a building. I had this vivid dream about it, and I told the chief about it because that was my whole attention was focused on these crimes. And a few weeks later, lo and behold, the woman who was missing at the time was found in the bushes next to a building. Perhaps coincidence, but it shows you, I think, how it gets into someone's head when these crimes grip a community like this, a small city like Springfield.
She was missing for approximately 3 weeks when she was located in the south end, downtown Springfield area. There was an inspection going on at the building, and the person conducting the exterior inspection located her kind of tucked behind some small shrubbery. And she was frozen to the core.
Her death was consistent with the other homicides. Manual strangulation.
Law enforcement was very clear that they felt that she had been slain elsewhere and that her body was dumped outside.
And she was sexually assaulted. An important clue, she's not wearing the earrings she wore the night she vanished. The ones Gaynor said she was going to pawn. Then surveillance units following Alfred Gaynor spot him visiting a pawn shop.
Our detectives went out and discovered at the pawn shops that he had pawned our last victim's earrings.
Investigators think they finally have the proof. He is their guy. As for the FBI profile,
The killer was likely an African-American man.
He's the same race, fairly young, 30, give or take, a few years. He was in his early 30s. He lived with his parents. He did a type of work that was precise and exacting. Auto body and machining were his trades, and certainly machining has a precision quality to it.
But in this story, the danger is far from over.
The young man pounced on Alfred Gaynor and pummeled him with punches.
He just jumped up. He couldn't control himself.
Five women die at the hands of a serial killer before police get the evidence they need to arrest suspect Alfred Gaynor.
It was amazing that if he didn't pawn those earrings, how many more ladies would have died?
My family, we were watching the news every day, all day, to see if they would ever catch someone. Finally, they had said that they had apprehended Alfred Gaynor.
The Gaynor I knew or came across from time to time, I never would have imagined. It just didn't make sense to me. I was surprised, I was shocked, I was hurt, I was confused.
It was really a shock to his family and to people who knew him, his neighbors.
Those are the people that were surprised. What? That was Alfred was doing that?
Investigators still have work to do.
Even though there was an arrest, and even though the chief and the district attorney thought they had the suspect, to link it all together and be 100% sure, you just never know.
We continue to investigate that up until the trial.
His palm prints were recovered at 2 crime scenes. His fingerprints were recovered at 1 or 2 crime scenes. And his blood was recovered at the Rosemary Downs homicide.
The final nail in Gaynor's coffin. The DNA test results.
The DNA from Mr. Gaynor matched the DNA from the biological evidence from a number of crime scenes.
There was no doubt in our minds when the DNA finally came back that Alfred Gaynor was responsible and was the killer.
I was happy, and I was sad, upset that someone that was my aunt's friend took her life.
When Gaynor is arraigned, mayhem.
My aunt's oldest son, he couldn't control himself. He just jumped up.
And then Gaynor's 2 relatives, a sister and a nephew, came running from the galley and joined the fray.
The trial is an emotional one.
Oh, God. Oh. I made sure that when he was in the courtroom, that he would look right in front of him, that he would look in my face. He actually admitted killing my sister to me, face to face.
I was terrified because I could put a face to the man that had killed my aunt.
Prosecutors describe how Gaynor sought out women he knew who would be comfortable with him.
He targeted women that were by themselves. So he could take advantage.
He struck with intense fury. They didn't stand a chance. Then he'd disappear into the community, who thought they knew him.
On indictment number 98-965, you, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
Alfred Gaynor is found guilty on all counts.
The first 4 that a jury convicted him on were murder in the first degree and aggravated rape. He received life sentences for each, with a 25-year on and after for each aggravated rape.
Our officers could breathe. Our community members could breathe. The intense feeling of fear that ran through our community like a chill was immediately relieved.
But it's still not over. Turns out he's responsible for even more murders.
Years later, he confessed to 5 others, and during one of those, he left an 18-month-old baby at the crime scene to slowly die in the same apartment that her mother was killed.
The neighbors are calling, and the landlord's saying, listen, there's a problem here. We haven't heard from this woman here, and she has a baby. When we got there, the baby died.
He was indicted for a few more murders, and he's confessed to and been held responsible in courts for 8 or 9 murders at this point. And as far as I'm concerned, he still could be responsible for a couple of more.
In this business, a double murder is very rare. Triple murder, very rare. You have somebody with 7, 8, 9, 10, it's unheard of. Yeah, he's where he should be.
Now he'll never harm anyone outside the prison system again.
He's never going to get out. There's no death penalty in Massachusetts, so he couldn't get any more.
He gets to live. My aunt doesn't. I'm one against the death penalty. But I think I would have made an exception this time.
So I believe in the Bible. I swear in 9242. He took their lives, he shouldn't be able to be alive. That's my honest opinion. Yeah.
Rosemary missed out on her children's lives, her granddaughter's life, the births of her great nieces and nephews. All the good times that we used to have, was stolen away from us. Things weren't the same after. That to this day is still hard.
Oh, Loretta was a beautiful person. She had so much life in her, and, I just wish she could have had that chance to live it.
And we'll always love you, Aunt Loretta. You'll always be a part of us.